Hello, everybody. Welcome to Comedy Film Nerds, episode 250, buddy.
I can't believe we got up to 250.
Oh,
it's not even counting a bunch of them.
I know. A third of the way to 750.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good business.
Yeah, that's a good number.
It is. It is. We're not halfway to 500. That just
no.
seems 500 doesn't seem exciting enough.
Still seems even yet odd at the same time.
Yeah, it does. I like 750.
But
I like it
it's
all.
an exciting. We got a brand new guest. Never been on the
First
program
time
before.
guest, guys. We've been banging a lot of new guests the last couple of months.
A lot of new guest drums.
A lot of new guests, banging some guest drums, calling up some people where I'm like, you know what? Wait, how come this person hasn't been on the show? I've known this guy for a long time.
We got a lot we're going to talk about too. We're going to talk about Selma, Into the Woods, The Gambler, a little more Birdman discussion, and maybe we'll talk about Campus Man too.
Little teaser. Definitely tease Campus Man. Shout out to Arizona State's campus, my rival. And we're going to talk some sports movies. Maybe some little taste of Golden Globes.
Little teaser of Golden Globes.
Here's what we're going to do Golden Globes. Chris and I decided on Sunday, he and I are going to just give our sort of wrap up of the Golden Globes in a separate episode. Yes. That'll go into much detail. We'll glance over a little bit.
And that'll be out in March.
I think that's bad. You
think that's too long?
I was going to just say 2 days from now, but if you want to do March, I guess we'll find a happy medium between 2 days and 7 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, just you got to raise a little anticipation.
About an award show that's dead and gone.
Yeah.
Had 3 other award shows pass it up. I think it's good planning, buddy.
Already got advertisers lining up.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah,
for the show that's 3 weeks late.
Got a new advertiser for this show.
Oh yeah, we do actually. For reals, we got a new advertiser.
Bam.
You're going to be hearing about that soon.
Some live shows that I'm doing.
It's going to be pretty amazing.
Oh guys, we got so many hot, fast, thick tie-ins. We've got some fan feedback. We've got some site spotlight. It's 2015. We're fucking banging it out hard.
Hitting the ground running.
We started out last week with 2 episodes. Boom. And a spoiler app, Hobbit spoiler app, if you haven't heard it.
Yes.
All right, so let's just introduce our guest.
Let's do it.
This gentleman, I've known this gentleman since he moved to town from great Seattle. Moved back here. Okay, he's telling me exactly what to say. You can all just explain this when I introduce you there, my friend. He's done a million things, which we're going to get into. I've done a bunch of very fun shows with this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, first time in the Nerd headquarters from the San Fernando Valley, 818 representing Push and Believe. Now I'm doing his act. Ladies and gentlemen, Brody Stevens.
Thank you, Graham. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited. That was a wonderful intro. Yes, I was telling you, because some people think I was born in Seattle. I was born here, but I did my career character. Brody Stevens was born in Seattle, essentially.
Right. But you're from the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, I grew up here.
What brought you to Seattle?
Comedy, basically, the arts. I grew up in playing baseball, so I was a baseball guy, and I felt that just...
you went to Arizona State, because I went to University of Arizona. You went to Arizona. You played baseball at Arizona State.
Right. I mean, I wasn't a star, but enough to get an opportunity, and I did get that chance. But I was so into baseball. It was like, okay, college, the best. If I can get in there, Major League Spring Training and the Valley were known for baseball. So I just went for it. And then when I was done with that, I could have probably gone on into some form of coaching. I did coach a little bit. And I felt that for comedy... Yeah, this is Hollywood. Oh, you know everybody. You're here. No, it's like you have to go experience other things to become an artist. And I just knew my instincts told me get out of LA. I always, as a kid, wanted to go to New York. It was just something about the big buildings, and I never really traveled outside of California. So I went all out for baseball. And then I was just here spinning my wheels after college, and I kind of wanted into the business, but who knows, you intern, right. And I knew that comedy was my best bet, being myself. And I just knew, and starting here, I just didn't feel right. And they had that Northridge earthquake in '94, and it was either I was just spinning my wheels, and it was either go to Arizona, which to me, I just never felt that vibe or instinct to be creative. It was that was my baseball world. And they like to laugh, but I think it's not that.
You got to go to cities. I find that so many comics you got to go to a city where there's like a comedy scene. Mm-hmm. You know, and
Yeah.
Seattle has one, Portland has one, Minneapolis, Chicago, Denver, Austin. You know what I mean? New York, obviously, they have a scene happening. And if a city doesn't have that, like Phoenix,
They still don't.
yeah, they just
Even with the internet. I think it's just
Philly scene is actually coming back.
Philly scene is
finally.
coming.
they are really.
Yeah.
Well, because of Helium has helped with that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was there was, I was in college. There were 3 full-time comedy clubs. There was a lot of comics, and they were getting radio jobs, and it was a scene. And then they, at one point, I think they all closed.
Right.
And then it dissipated. People left, and now with Helium, and they're starting to become more of a comedy town again.
Mm-hmm.
I think Boston. Maybe that's the next. It would be
Boston
nice to
is
get
a scene,
Boston and San Francisco.
Yeah.
Those are really strong back in the day. And not to say that they aren't now, but I feel like maybe there's.
No, but that's true though. You have to, and I think, if you grow up in LA, you have to go out of it and come back in some capacity. I think so.
Yeah, and I went to Seattle. I didn't know it had the arts, and when my family told me come up here, they really support the arts. And the minute I went up there it was right when grunge was kind of going away, and it was just I got how because the weather it's a city up there, and it just really got me going. It was a great start.
I remember too. I mean, then I've had so many fun experiences performing with you. One time we did. I think it was back when Doug was doing the Benson Interruption at UCB, and you were drumming with the
chair drums.
The chair drums, and then you were like, "Come on, Graham, join me." And I whistled, and we whistled and drummed together.
I know we did that at a show
Prelude
on
to Whistling
Cahuenga.
Band.
Yeah.
We did something like that. I have some good photos, but we may have done it a couple times, like jammed it out, rocked it out.
So
It's
much
fun, right?
It was such a jam because it was just like I love that purity of just like it's silly and fun, but also it is sort of creative. Like we are making music to a certain extent.
I mean, that's the thing now. It's all about comedians
Just
playing
like Stomp.
Yeah, it's like Stomp. Brody and I were doing our own Stomp.
on 2nd Avenue. I would, you hear about so many, it's all about comedians. Come to the show and watch the comedian play a song. I'm not knocking those shows. Like, come on down and play drums or play whatever. You're hearing comedians doing actual songs. I feel like, and they're not selling it as comedy, but I think it's comedy. Even there's just something about banging on a chair, and you play it serious.
Yeah.
That's the comedy, and we get into it. You can't not be into it and make music,
right?
And we actually were making music, and we were into it. And I also feel like
is that on YouTube? That performance?
Man, I don't know. It
got taken down with copyright
From Stomp.
There you go. Callback. Love it.
The Whistling Banes tour manager.
Yeah.
He pulled it.
Well, let's get started. I really want to. I want to say this episode will be brought to you by Vegas.com. We'll get into that new sponsor very shortly. But first, I want to talk about Selma. Now, you saw this movie. I'm really excited to see this movie.
I was excited to see it. It did win some awards at the Golden Globes. It won one, I believe, right?
For the Glory, the soundtrack
That's
with
right.
Common and John Legend. Great speech, by the way.
Great speech. The thing about biopics are hard to do.
Sure.
The toughest thing about them is when you're doing an iconic person like Dr. King. And I thought this lead actor did a great job.
And there's already been movies.
There's been a million.
Yeah,
I mean,
movies made about.
There's been
the
so
subject
many,
matter already.
Like this has been this has been covered a bunch of times, but I think this is maybe one of the first times it's been covered on such a large scale. Ava DuVernay has like really kind of her first time. She's been on a lot of crew things. She's directed some TV, but like this is really the first like big budget Hollywood movie that she's done, and I think she did a really good job with it. The tough thing that you're dealing with Selma, and I want to bring this up on IMDb. The lead actor David Oyelowo. I'm totally mispronouncing that.
He's Hawaiian?
Yeah, he's totally Hawaiian. Yes, mahalo.
Johnny Grassskirt.
Yeah, Johnny Grassskirt is Dr. King is one of the best public speakers of the last 100 years. I mean, literally, you've got FDR, you've got Kennedy, you've got Churchill.
I was going to say,
you know what I
Churchill.
mean? And I mean, like, that's the short list. So this actor who does a great job, and I was reminded of, I just saw on HBO Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash film, which I like, and I like Joaquin Phoenix. And I was sort of making comparisons because I think Walk the Line's a good movie, and it's really about his relationship to June Carter and kind of how their relationship and love affair. And
is that what this focus for this film was?
No. This is about Selma, Alabama.
Okay.
It's about how big of a deal that was,
right?
And all that. The thing is like the first speech he gives. In my head, I was like, oh man. But then I was like, well, wait a minute, that's not fair. This guy's a very good actor. He's doing an excellent job. And no one is going to be able to give a speech like Dr. King. Like, that's just no one's ever going to be able to do that.
I'm sure he studied it.
Yeah, of course he studied it. He did an excellent job. What this movie really focuses on, and the director was right for doing this, is all of the behind-the-scenes stuff of this specific event.
Okay.
Because I, and most of us, I only know the Dr. King from the big speeches.
Right.
I don't. And so seeing him scared, what are we doing? Am I making a mistake? Am I leading these people to get slaughtered? You know, and to see the politicking going on. So all the actors are real. There's just really solid actors that they cast in all of these parts. This director didn't shy away from the fact that he was, you know, he had extramarital affairs. He was cheating on his wife, and how they dealt with that. The scene between him and his wife, when they dealt with that. The fact that there was politics, there was another organization called, God, I forget the name off the top of my head. I just saw the movie last night. But there was another black rights organization in Selma that was feeling a little like threatened or pissed off that they called in Dr. King. And they're like, well, we want to handle it this way. And he had to maneuver that politics, and then how he dealt with President Johnson. Now, of course, it's a theatrical version. There's one phone call between him and the president that I'm like,
dramatized.
I doubt he spoke to the president that way.
Was he on a cell phone?
Yes, he was talking to him on Twitter. It was direct messaging on Twitter. You know, and I've also. Because the timeline here, this is, I think, 65, Selma, Alabama. So Dr. King had already been in the thick of the fight. And he realized that Selma was like, so Johnson had already passed the Civil Rights Act, but he was really trying to get him to pass the Voting Act, because that's what this Selma, Alabama thing was all about, is just all of these Jim Crow laws that were just horrible to where you couldn't vote. Well, technically you could, but it was like this ridiculous amount of things you had to go through to get to vote. So that was interesting. I've also heard some, you know, and there's a scene from the trailer where LBJ, was played by Tom Wilkinson, who does a great job, says, you have one issue you're trying to deal with? I have 101 because I'm the president. But I also have heard actual phone conversations from LBJ saying, well, we need to get these riots on the TV. We need to get people getting the crap kicked out of them on TV so America sees this, and then I can act. This movie kind of took the thing of Dr. King sort of strong-armed LBJ into that, which was like, you know what I mean? But overall, this is an excellent movie. And the speech that Common gave, where he said, "I'm the kid who got shot. I'm the two cops who were executed." You know, and the timing on this is, you know, in light of what we're going on. And again, they made a great joke. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler of, yep, it's all fixed. Civil rights issues fixed, which is a great joke because we're so clearly not fixed. But it showed you how important nonviolence is. There's a scene after the first time they go over the bridge, and someone gets, it was a nighttime march, and someone got the shit kicked out of them. I think someone might have even died or something. And a guy's like, I want a gun. Give me the gun. And the actor that plays Andrew Young is like, no, we can't. We shoot 2 of them, they'll kill 10 of us. That won't work. And if you look to history, Dr. King and Gandhi did it nonviolently. Gandhi got the English Empire to give up control of India. And then you look at, let's say, Palestine or Northern Ireland, who's been using violence and terrorism. It's not working. And I remember I was raised Irish. I mean, I'm Irish Catholic. So the England out of Ireland mantra was spoken a lot when I was a kid growing up and listening to my grandmother. But then as I got older and I'm watching what the IRA was doing, I'm like, you're not helping your case. If you're bombing stuff, and, U2 did a song about it on Sunday Bloody Sunday, and they're like, we're tired of this revolution or whatever because, and I'm generalizing, I'm generalizing giant and very complex issues in history.
And a large portion of history.
A large portion of history, of world history. But I'm just saying...
And then the Roman Empire fell.
Yeah, something like that. Roman Empire, then the Beatles, right? Yeah. And there was a couple things happened in between. But my point is, in those instances... In general, using violence or terrorism, even if you're right, it's not going to work unless your goal is to literally overthrow, unless you want to just have a bloody revolution. But if you want to get your thing done, it's done with nonviolence. And the most effective thing, and the filmmaker handled this quite well, is when the beatings on that bridge, were on national TV. And this director did not pull back on how brutal the violence was. And then she shows Americans of all different walks of life watching this on the news going, Jesus.
Did they show some actual footage too? Or was it all recreation?
Yeah, it was some recreations. They did show some actual footage, but they got actual newspaper headlines because that's back when the print media was very powerful still. And
was it cops doing most of the beating, or were there regular white civilians and
it was both.
Ku Klux Klan in on it also?
Yeah, but you saw the cops. I mean, that's what did it, was the people on TV seeing cops with nightsticks just...
Yeah, you've seen those images.
And those were the images, and then they got the actual headlines and stuff, and then swapped out the photo with the actor who was playing that woman who got knocked out or whatever.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, and it just shows, and George Clooney brought it up at the Golden Globes with what happened in Paris. And the response to what happened in Paris was 3.7 million people or something like that marched in Paris on Sunday with we're standing up for this, but not let's go get the terrorists and not root them out.
It was something like one of the biggest demonstrations in French history.
Ever.
Yeah.
So, it was impressive. And what were they standing up for? Solidarity? We won't be, here we are marching, don't,
yes,
this is our strength in numbers, feel our power.
And also,
in a positive way?
It was in a positive way, but it was mainly focused on freedom of the press. Because this paper, the Charlie or whatever it's called, does a lot of satire, and they've done some stuff that's satires against Muslims and Jews.
Yeah, they've done the cartoon.
And if you were watching the news last night,
I'm scared.
It's they said NBC, the standards and practices, they won't even let them show the covers of the cartoons, they're either blacked out or.
What do you think about that? Do you think it's? I almost. Again, this is how my instincts. Maybe I'm scared. I would almost not put it up just to avoid the problem. But I don't know if that's the answer. The short-term answer, maybe.
I don't think that's the answer. I was watching this morning on.
Because then there'll just be another. Then okay, they caved to this cartoon. Yeah. We don't like this cartoon either.
Well, maybe we draw the line. Okay, we'll give you that one. But come on. We'll give you one cartoon.
I think that's a great tactic. Yeah. No, but I saw a woman speaking from Reporters Without Borders, and she was just no, and she was at the march on Sunday, and she goes, one of the things that was amazing, there was Muslims marching saying, I don't agree with these cartoons. Right. But I agree with your right to put them out there.
Yeah, if you lose your satire, you lose your art. When you lose your art, you lose your civilization, and that's really where it goes.
And I think, the fact that this movie is the timing of it is unbelievable, considering what happened in Paris, considering what's been going on in Ferguson, in New York City, and it was just it showed like why it has to be nonviolent. And now it's different. The media now doesn't want to show peaceful marches. The media gets good ratings.
Ratings.
Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, well, what about with the ISIS thing? Is this all related? Is that something, or like, what about specifically on that? Is there any way these guys are so brutal? They're so, and I know like they're probably going to have, you can't beat up, meaning like there'll always be one, you can't get rid of them all.
Right.
Whatever, and whatever you mean rid, but how do you handle that specific?
Well, I'm talking about, ISIS, yeah, they're crazy and they're violent and they're
It's
evil.
like they're like a whole other world.
They're fucking evil. And that you have to, of course you have to defend against that in some capacity. I'm talking about, though.
Well, the print run of this Charlie magazine, they said the next run of the magazine is usually about 50, 60,000. It's going to be 3 million.
3 million.
For the next two.
But that's great.
Mm-hmm. And so I think, though, like, I think what I'm speaking of specifically is like the protests in Ferguson or the protests in New York, they got to stay nonviolent because,
of course,
and if the cops are showing too much force, which they have, especially in Ferguson, they're showing up in like, Well,
the difference is now that stuff goes up on YouTube immediately.
Right. It goes
like there's no, there's no media blackout, and if there is with corporate media, it doesn't matter. It goes online.
Right, but I'll give you an example. In August, when the Michael Brown shooting first happened, and I was watching I was watching CNN and MSNBC, and they were showing the first riots and stuff that were happening. And then online, I saw photos of like a black dude handing a cop a rose and signs like we appreciate the police, but we want and all these peaceful nonviolent things, and the mainstream corporate media, that's not good ratings. Turning over cop cars is good ratings. So I was like, why is our current media not even showing? Because now it's all about
news,
fear. Yeah, exactly. They're not showing the whole thing. They're not showing the people who are like, hey, we do want to resolve this peacefully. We do think something needs to be done because an unarmed kid got shot. That's wrong. But we don't want to start more violence.
Really, the lesson here is that Comcast should own everything. I think that's the takeaway
totally.
here. It's really where we're
going. These subjects all are relatable, and I think I would.
So definitely recommended.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's well acted. And this lead actor, he does a great job of showing the human side of Dr. King, flaws, fears, all of the stuff, and everyone around him. Because you think about it, we're going to go march on a bridge today, and someone could die. That's not easy to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's a really good film, and I loved what Common said at the Golden Globes.
So basically, you wanted the guys. I'm like, I want to march in the middle.
Yeah. For real, and it's a good film, and it's why, as I said, I love this time of year because everything that comes out is good. So let's talk about
now a little lighter. Oh, you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do. You had seen Birdman recently.
Birdman, supposed to.
Yeah, and it did.
Zach made me.
It did, and it did well at the.
It did well at the Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Michael Keaton won Best Director. Who won Best Director? No, Wes Anderson won that.
Yeah, Michael Keaton won Best Actor.
But the three guys came up and won the three directors of it. Guys who wrote it, directed it, voice-overed it. The Spanish guys or Argentine.
Yeah, let me bring all these up.
They're either Argentine or Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Brody, that's the same thing.
Birdman won Best Screenplay.
That's what it was.
That's what they won. Michael Keaton won Best Actor.
I saw it. I'm supposed to give my opinion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I liked it. I thought it was stylish. But it didn't... I get a weird thing like this. The Michael Keaton, it really is... I don't know if it's like... when I saw the Golden Globes, I just felt like that moment, it was his moment. He knew it was coming. It's almost like art, life imitating art with this thing. And I saw it, And yes, aesthetically and the acting, Ed Norton was great, Zach was great, everybody was great in it. But I just felt there was just something. I'm not hating on Michael Keaton. I loved him in all his films. I just felt like there's just something about it that. I'm not saying it didn't seem sincere. It just.
Yeah, you didn't love it.
It wasn't like a Mickey, like when Mickey Rourke had his moment, or the wrestler, or I'm not saying Burt Reynolds in Boogie Nights, he had a smaller part, but the moments, it just didn't seem like it. Seemed like it was like for him, it was like this is even to the speech, which was a little weird, talking about him and his son, and I just wasn't buying it. I just didn't fall in love with it. I liked the movie. But I saw, for example, Nightcrawler. I enjoyed that more. I really like Jake Gyllenhaal.
You think Jake Gyllenhaal is? I mean, Oscar nominations are coming out soon. Do you think
he might? I mean, it's going to be a crowded field. He might get a nomination. I don't think the movie will get nominated, but he might.
He was great, and he lost the weight. He was just driven. It was like
a great. Creep, lunatic.
Yeah, he nailed it. It was like Taxi Driver.
And also, really, for the hardest thing about that type of role is how do you make it feel sincere? And he did. Like, he really felt like, oh, that's a real guy.
Yeah, really I believed him. I wasn't like, oh, he's playing a version of a wingnut. I was like, no, I
believe it.
I believe this guy.
Keaton, no, I'm not a hater. It was like he was playing himself. Maybe there's a reason why he doesn't. I'm not saying like what else has he been in since before Birdman, but it was
Herbie the Love Bug. I mean, let's be.
I mean, he did like drop off a little bit, right? Sure. Michael Keaton dropped off for whatever reason, and I saw Birdman, and he was missing something and I just don't. I get the hubbub and the hoopla, but it just seeing Nightcrawler really just. Hammered at home. Jake Gyllenhaal, the guy's really good.
Maybe we'll get a Beetlejuice sequel.
And I'm not hating on Michael Keaton. God, this is going to get out, and Zach's he's going to push me away even further. Can't be myself on these things.
All right, well, let's get into.
Now, I have a lot to say about this next film, Into the Woods. Wow. And let's bring this up on IMDb. And the most surprising thing about this film,
did you see this?
The family wanted to see it.
Okay.
Family wanted to go. Both kids and my wife wanted to see it. And here's the crazy thing: it's pretty good.
What?
That's how
we made fun of this movie.
I know. And this is here. Well, here's the thing: if I was the director, Rob Marshall, I would find the trailer editor and fucking strangle him. Because basically what he did with that trailer was take, like, say you took Anchorman and made a trailer of a biopic about an actual news reporter. That's the equivalent of what happened with this trailer. What this trailer did was take the dumbest, most over-the-top parts of the film and string them together like this was some overly dramatic musical Hook type movie, and it wasn't that at all. It was
it wasn't Hook with singing.
Yeah, that's because that's what it looked like: overproduced, overly dramatic, overacted. It looked horrible. The trailer made this movie look absolutely horrible. So, and it wasn't the case. Turns out one of the writers of the stage play actually wrote the screenplay. Rob Marshall did a really nice job with directing it, and some of the over-the-top moments, especially with like Chris Pine, were played that way. They were actually kind of they were campy and like, this is Prince Charming, but they were in on the joke. So it was a much different film than the trailer showed.
It's like dark. It's almost like a Tim Burton feel.
It had, yeah. And the other thing the trailer did was just make it look absolutely ridiculous. And it wasn't. It was actually more grounded. You know, the singing was mostly good. There's the other thing about the trailer. You would think when you're making a trailer for a musical, you'd show somebody singing.
Yeah,
you know, that's
didn't see it.
I had no idea it was a musical, unless
Rob Marshall, you think maybe Chicago, but no.
You also see that there's like a ton of stars, and even like that aren't even in the trailer. Like Tracy Ullman is in it. She does a really good job. She plays the mother of Jack and the Beanstalk. Now, Meryl Streep mostly does a good job. Her worst moments were the ones in the trailer that showed like how ridiculous she looks and how she overacts. And there were a couple of those moments, And somehow the trailer editor found them all and stuck them in the trailer. And but there's some fun parts with her, and she's a mediocre singer now. I didn't see Mamma Mia, but the reports are that she sings much better in this than in Mamma Mia. That's so there's definitely been an improvement. Anna Kendrick does an amazing job. She's a good singer. She's fun. Emily Blunt does a really good job, and she actually can sing. But then we get to some of the problems of the film.
Here we go.
And here's one of the biggest problems is don't cast actors who can't sing in a musical movie. It's like when the Les Mis movie came out, and you have these actors that I'm like, well, I don't. Okay, I get it. You know, you have to sell tickets, but they can't sing. You know, don't put actual singers in the movie. Like the weakest part of the film by far was Johnny Depp. I mean, but here's the thing: you'd think he's in the entire movie from the trailer. Again, it's like, oh, there's like a reveal. There's like there's a big reveal. Like we're hiding Johnny Depp because he's so awesome in this movie. He is not. He is terrible in this film.
Really?
And he's the big bad wolf in a zoot suit because he wanted to dress like a Tex Avery cartoon, and they let him. But here's the thing: he's only in one scene, so he doesn't ruin the movie. He just ruins the scene that he's in. And this is also a failure of the production design. Johnny Depp managed to ruin the production design for his scene. That's what's so amazing, too. Like, you have this well-realized world, and you also have very good production design. You see, like, castles and haunted forests and giants, and you see all that stuff. Then all of a sudden, you see Johnny Depp as the big bad wolf, how, like, he just came off from the cast of Cats. Like, he comes on, he's got
stole
this
the
weird
costume
prosthetic.
stuff that didn't work.
Yeah,
like,
he, like this weird, just this post on tail and like,
the extra bin for cats. He just...
I'm like, wait a minute. For this movie, you could motion capture this. You could make him some type of werewolf. You could do anything. And you could even have someone else sing his part. But... So
you could cast someone else.
You could cast someone else.
Was his name on the poster? And Johnny Depp?
It has to
Johnny
be.
Depp?
You could,
Johnny.
Yeah, you could not let him choose his own costume. You could do that. So it was unbelievable. like it's stuck out so much as a sore spot.
It's like, did he get jealous of Helena Bonham Carter? And just say, I want to wear big suits and prosthetics in every movie.
You would think that. Like, you literally, it's like, all right, Lone Ranger 2, that's how I'm approaching this role. And it's unbelievable. And now at this point, Johnny Depp, did he really help sell tickets to Into the Woods?
No.
Did he?
That's what I'm saying. Like after the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary. So this movie, it's a little too long, but it's got some great songs in it, and the story is definitely Disneyfied. There's some sexual innuendos and sexual awakening, but it's so watered down that you can bring your kids to this movie. Right. But I did a 180 on it after don't watch the trailer if you're interested in seeing this movie.
Right.
It's very well put together with some glaring parts that are all in the trailer. So just subtract all the parts in the movie that are in the trailer, and you've actually got a really good movie. So ignore the trailer, see the film. Thumbs up on Into the Woods.
Nice.
Never
in a million years. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, 2 hours I have to sit here. And then it started, I'm like, oh, you know what? It's not bad. Okay, this is nothing like okay, all right, I'm on board. Oh, Johnny Depp, I'm off again. All right, now I'm on board. It was only one scene.
All right. So I saw The Gambler.
Yes.
Now, this is basically a remake of the James Caan movie from the 70s. A loose remake.
Rollerball.
Yeah, it's a remake of Rollerball. No, not the movie called The Gambler.
Yeah.
This is of course this movie reminds me of Drive. It came out a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Slow, methodical at times. And my guess is...
Boring.
Well, my guess is that there was that split. Like, I really like Drive, and you and others were like, kind of boring.
I didn't buy it.
Didn't like it. I think that's going to be the reaction to this film.
Okay. Who directed it?
Rupert Wyatt, who has... I'm going to bring up his IMDb. Now, he has done Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which I like, The Escapist. He's done some short films. So
Okay.
yeah, I think this
It's a weird movie to remake.
it is a weird movie to remake. I mean, it wasn't like Rollerball. It wasn't this like iconic film from the 70s. It was just one of those smaller movies. Mark Wahlberg, he does a good job. This is his first like non-Mark Wahlbergian.
Real?
He's not a tough guy. He's scrawny. He's disheveled. He keeps making stupid mistakes. He keeps getting he gets his shit kicked out of
He's
him.
addicted to
Yeah,
gambling.
he's a gambling addict. And like Drive, you've got great scenes. Like John Goodman is awesome. I think there's a couple scenes with Goodman where he plays this mob guy, and I feel like the James. Let's see, who was that? James Toback was one of the writers, I believe, on the original 1974 The Gambler. So he wrote the original. So I think they used some of the. It feels like some of the dialogue and some of the was the same. Again, I haven't seen the original Gambler from '74 in quite some time, but he just sort of goes on. Mark Wahlberg goes on because he's a literary professor. Mm-hmm. He goes on these rants that I liked. And here's the thing: I think I like this, and I like the slow pace of it. And Brie Larson plays like this girl in college who's into him and stuff like that, and their relationship is really bizarre, but in an interesting way. And I think there's really good scenes. It is. I don't know if everyone's going to like it. I know it's not getting a lot of award buzz. Not that I don't think it's a good movie. I think it's also, like you say, it's a crowded field. And Best Leading Actor, when you've got Steve Carell and you've got all these other people bringing in these, and the dude that played Dr. King and all these other people, I think it's just going to be hard for Mark Wahlberg to break through on any of it.
I think that I haven't seen it yet, but I think we're a little not burnt out on the whole Gambler, the card. To me, you see it, The Gambler. Is it was it one of these poker movies? Is it one of these card counting films? Is it?
It's been a while since Rounders.
Yeah, but we had that 21 film. I know what you're talking about.
I just thought it was that, and like these guys who, yeah, exactly. And so I thought it was that a little bit going in. I'm a little burnt out on the Vegas movies, that kind of thing. And then also with him specifically, maybe because he had that, he had the, the fighter, and he had his quote unquote moment. And I also think there's been a little, I don't know if this comes into play, but maybe some negative press towards him that could come into play. People, personal, especially like recently with what's been. I'm being a downer. I'm going after these guys. No, but he got in trouble. He wanted to get his record expunged. Of the violence.
Yeah, he beat someone up a long time ago.
Yeah, it was actually a Vietnamese guy, and the guy's blind, and I think he did accept his apology, but. And then he had the 9/11 comments about if he was in the cockpit or whatever. So I think these things are kind of were a little Wahlberged out. I think there's a little bit of that.
It's weird a guy like that would shoot his mouth off.
I'm just talking about in terms of getting votes.
Those are valid. That's a valid point because that kind of stuff does figure in. Because
it does. Everyone says it doesn't, but it really does.
Of course it does because we get those ballots. And it's for the SAG Awards, you get the ballots, and sometimes I'm like, well, I've met this guy. This guy's a stroke. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Stroke. I like that.
So I could see how that would happen if somebody works with a guy and he's a pain in the ass or whatever. I can definitely see how that figures in. I think it's worth seeing. Mm-hmm. Is it a rush out and see it because it's going to be there on Oscar night? No.
Well, good luck if you want to try to rush out.
Yeah,
and see it.
I mean it's
very limited release.
But I think this is a movie when it does come out on DVD down the road. I think it's worth watching.
It's worth a view.
It's worth a Netflix watch.
Okay.
It's worth checking out.
Okay.
All right, ready for our new advertiser?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Yeah, work it. Advertiser, work it. Now, this is actually not only a new advertiser, but a new advertiser to podcasting. Mm-hmm. So, Vegas.com. And this is a really good advertiser, especially we think for you guys too, is because, you got a lot of travel sites like Travelocity and all these other ones, but they're all like these big global kind of things. The thing about Vegas.com is they serve up Vegas from the inside, as they say, because they're actually from Vegas.
Live there.
They actually live there. And they work there, and they know, they know what's there, what's to see, and what to avoid, and how to get discounts. That's what's great. I mean, if you have people actually on the ground there, you can always get better deals.
And here's some of the deals you can get. Like, I am headlining the Improv at Harrah's Hotel and Casino.
What are those dates, Graham?
That is February 17th through the 22nd. So if you go to Vegas.com and use coupon code CFN, you can get 10% off tickets to see me perform.
That is perfect.
And I like Vegas. I know I was taking a shot at Vegas maybe through the Gambler. No way.
But say I want to go to Vegas and I don't want to see you. Can I get a discount on another show?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you're a dick, but you could definitely get a discount. Like, you could go see Blue Man Group, or I'll say this. There's a bunch of Cirque du Soleil shows.
One at every casino.
I've seen 2 of them. Mm-hmm. The O Show
that's fantastic.
That is fantastic. I want to see the Beatles one. Mm-hmm. I don't get to go to as many because I'm always performing. Right. But, like, I would say come out to Vegas.
The MGM one's really good, too.
The MGM one's great.
That Cirque du Soleil.
And the other thing, too, that Vegas.com does is they know when it's slow. Because here's the thing. Vegas has so many hotel rooms and so many shows that if you can be flexible, go there midweek, Vegas.com knows better than anybody how to get, like, I remember staying once at a hotel room at, like, the Flamingo for like $25 a night.
Yeah, because someone was murdered there.
Yeah, exactly.
Vegas really
I love
does.
staying in that kind of stuff.
It really does have a lot of character. I haven't been there for like a vacation for years and years and years, but there is something about Vegas, even downtown, and just there is some character there.
They've added a lot of. The thing is, I always say is like. Some people are like, I don't gamble. I'm like, you don't have to gamble.
You don't have to.
Things.
You know what we went to last time we were there? It was great. The Mob Museum.
The Mob Museum's great.
Fantastic.
Remember we did Kiss Mini Golf?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Kiss Mini Golf. That was great.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm. They have this thing called the Body Exhibition. The Body Exhibit. They're like in every.
So, like, Kiss Mini Golf is one of the more Vegas things I've ever done.
You're never going to see
in the pools.
Yeah.
And the pools
I mean, come on.
The pools are nice.
Yeah. So here's the great thing, too, about Vegas.com is you can actually book everything there. You could do air, hotel packages, tickets off, and
tours,
everything. So CFN will get you 10% off everything except air and hotel.
But 10% off any of the shows, any of the events.
Yeah, anything.
What about helicopter tour? That's air.
That's 10% off.
10% off.
Oh, airfare to Vegas, you can't get the 10% off. But a helicopter tour, guess what? That's under Tour Pal. You get 10% off.
Yeah, and you're still in the air.
Yeah, drop me off at Burbank.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna have a tour. Can I get a tour of the 15 freeway? And that's how you.
Yeah. You get bottle service at clubs for you younger listeners.
You younger listeners. There's old alcoholics who listen to this show. Come on, buddy. Don't be mean.
They're not going to a club though. They're going to like one of those bars in the
go to downtown. They just drink, play nickel slots.
Yeah, they're not waiting in a line.
No, booze it up. Some poker at the bar. Bang, bang, boom.
So check it out, Vegas.com. You will not be disappointed. Go see Graham or go see Cirque du Soleil. 10% off either way. Code CFN.
Boom. Book it. Speaking of discounts, this is the worst tie-in ever. You're looking at me like, how are you going to...
Wait, we have another advertisement?
I was starting to think how I'm going to tie that into. Brody, now you've watched a lot of sports movies. That's the worst tie-in anyone's ever done.
The Rookie.
Close enough.
One of my favorites.
Let's talk about Campus Man.
Oh. Oh, really?
So what are some of your favorite sports movies?
I mean, of course, I did mention The Rookie. That was one that really did hit home. Mm-hmm. Karate Kid, of course, being from the Valley. Bad News Bears. Of course, Rocky.
What's one of your top 2 or 3 sports movies?
I mean, those ones, for me, the baseball, I honestly, with that Rookie, because I played I still do. I still throw. I'm 44 years old, and I still play catch and throw bullpens, and so that one really struck
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah,
based on a true story.
Yeah, based on a true story, kept me going. And
did you like Moneyball too?
I like Moneyball. I thought it was great. I thought Brad Pitt was great. I thought the acting was great, the story, Jonah Hill. So, I mean, Moneyball was right on. And, you can get these baseball. I want to see this, speaking of sports movies, the new Kevin Costner, MacArthur, USA. It's about him being a coach of these Latino cross country. It looks good. It's a Disney film. So you always find, and the other one I want to see, which I haven't, is the John Hamm film with the Indian pitchers, the kids. That's based off a true story as well.
That's a good film.
You were excited about that movie. You're like, I know it's going to be by the numbers, but man, I'm on board.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I did like that movie. You're talking about McFarland USA.
Yeah, that's the one. I want to see that
this year.
And, it's on quite a bit. For Love of the Game.
No, you have some insight on that film.
Yes, I do.
Tell us.
Well, John C. Reilly,
plays the catcher.
Plays the catcher in the movie for the Detroit Tigers, and it's Kevin Costner throwing a no-hitter, a perfect game, and going through his life.
It's such a great, because he's that movie. He's playing this older dude, probably last leg of his career, and he's flashing back in his life while he's on the mound throwing the perfect game. And then they got Vin Scully, who is one of my favorite baseball announcers, calling this just beautiful one last ounce in the tank, just perfect. But anyway, I'm sorry. So what do you?
So the film, they're playing the Yankees,
directed by Sam Raimi.
You got it, Spider-Man,
right? And Evil Dead.
Yep.
So the film it was shot at Yankee Stadium. It was based, shot in real time, I think. And it was done, I don't want to say 97 or 98. 99. Okay. And they shot it. Okay, so John C. Reilly's in it. He's the catcher. And they needed some Yankee players. My friend that I grew up with, Michael Borzello, he was a coach. He was a coach of the Yankees at the time. He was there from 96 through 2008 or whatever. But they were shooting the film. So they actually had a couple Yankee young players or minor leaguers be in it. They needed guys to look like, for the background type things. And John C. Reilly was the catcher, but he couldn't catch. I mean, they gave him a brand new glove. The ball's popping out. He's not bad at baseball because there are baseball scenes, but the glove they gave him was brand new. He wasn't great at baseball, just like not being a singer for Into the Woods. Costner's into baseball, and Costner's basically directing the film. It's, Sam Raimi, but it's Costner calling the shots there. And they're filming at a Yankee Stadium in November. This is after the World Series. The Yankees probably won that year. And John C. Reilly just wasn't getting it done. And my friend, Mike Borzello, he was kind of a consultant on the film. They would give, little pointers on, you wouldn't do this. If you pitched a perfect game, you wouldn't walk off the field. They would lift you up. And if that ball was there, they would run this. So he really did. Because a lot of baseball films you watch, you go, not real, bad. This is pretty good. And Borzello had a lot to do with that. That's what he was brought in for.
And also, catching is one of the more difficult positions in baseball.
The heart, it's like you're the quarterback. You're doing everything. So the ball's just popping out, and they end up. They asked Mike to do all the baseball scenes. They go, "Oh, you look like him a little bit." So they shaved his arms, and if you watch the movie, we went to see the movie. Me and Borzello saw it in New York. You could totally tell. You just see movies like The Stuntman, but you could tell, you see his eyes, his face. It's different.
So Borzello's catching Kevin Costner, not John C. Reilly.
Correct. So if you watch, some scenes, yes, but Borzello did all the baseball scenes basically. And then I remember, Costner was, he's kind of he was tough out there, that's how he is. And I think one of the minor league guys, wasn't into him really, or, was ripping him or something. They were doing a scene where there's a line drive hit back to him. So he throws a ball, but to make it real, they had a guy off the side throwing the ball at Costner to make it like a line drive hit back at him. So he goes, "Watch this. I'm going to throw it high." He would because they'd shoot the scene at the. So he would mess it up a couple times to make Costner stretch. And he was always they would just make fun of Kevin. I say Kevin because he was always icing his arm, and he was but he was. I think overall they liked him, but if you could read up, John C. Reilly has a quote saying how Brizello was his eye in the middle, something in the hurricane of the storm, the eye in the middle. So basically, he really, gave it up for Mike. So it's kind of cool. I always see John C. Reilly, and we have that connection with that. So I watched that film, and I think it holds up today. Brizello, we watch, and that's just a big thing with movies. You watch it. That's not real. That's bad, especially if you're a player. So to take pride in that, and just that was kind of interesting.
Oh, cool.
A little baseball insight people didn't realize.
Yeah.
Connected, tied
What's your favorite
in.
all-time baseball film?
I mean, if you were to ask me, I would say, there's so many. Field of Dreams is great. I did an homage to that on my at a Comedy Central special or show series, if you want to call it. And they had the scene with Kevin Costner and James Earl Jones. They're at the Fenway Park and they're looking at the billboard, and they see the old billboard, and they had that moment. So I was shooting my show, and part of it was my special. It happened to be in Boston. So I said, why don't we work into my special where I go to Fenway Park and I recreate the scene from Field of Dreams, where I'm sitting in the stands and I'm looking at the scoreboard and I see it. And my whole thing was like positive energy at the time. Still is a little bit. There is truth to that. It's the secret. Everybody knows. The secret works. It's like, yeah, okay, I got a car, but I want more. It does work, but how do you get the good stuff? That's what I'm,
You need to update your vision board.
Yes. Dry erase. So I went there and we had this, I just kind of thought we were just all over cause that was the thing. I was like saying goodbye to baseball, and I put down the glove and I pick up the microphone. It was like my half-hour special. It was a big moment. And so I recreated the scene. I'm sitting there and I had a PA with me, kind of looked like James Earl Jones, of a African-American kid. And I'm looking at this, oh my God, just positive energy. Oh my God. So I recreated the scene from that. And obviously I was in The Hangover, which all, changed my life. You do get in a movie. It does feel good. It's a life changer in sense of it's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It feels good.
Yeah, to be in a big budget A-list motion picture.
But if I was to not be in another one again, I'd be okay with it. It was like, it's a nice thing. That's something it always lives on. That's a great thing with, especially like the internet, and it's up there. Yep. There's no rush. It's just gonna get better. But I think, Field of Dreams did it for me. Brewster's Millions.
That's your favorite baseball movie? That's amazing.
Well, honestly,
Angels in the Outfield.
There's so many. You know which one I want to go see? The Fear Strikes Out. I want to see that again. I want to revisit. That's with Anthony Hopkins. Mm-hmm. Plays Jimmy Pearsall, who was a baseball player.
Right. Who suffered from mental illness.
Yeah, had mental illness.
Yeah.
And he went away to a hospital. Mm-hmm. And then he came back to baseball and made all-star teams. And
he was a broadcaster in Chicago for a long time.
Right. I don't think people talk about that. They say, okay, there's a stigma, and not to say that he didn't suffer some, but he had a pretty successful career in baseball, being a player and in broadcasting. Mm-hmm. And it's like that. I think that's something I'd like to check that out, because baseball is stressful, and I can see how that. But it mirrors life. I really think that baseball, there is something to the films. You go. Basketball has some. You have Hoosiers, football, a few here, and you get the high school football teams and some of those stories. But there's just something about baseball. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see what the next baseball film would be. Hardball was kind of interesting. Keanu Reeves.
Wow.
No. Okay, now I'm stretching. Okay, that was I'm sorry. That was
coming out on DVD. We got to move along now.
You got it. My bad. Redbox denied it.
Gone Girl is actually going to be out on DVD.
If you guys missed this in the theater, it's worth seeing. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing amazing things. Is this the?
I didn't love it, but and it's funny when you brought up a couple of those points, I didn't love it even more.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there. I don't want to spoil it, but there's some stuff in there that's like,
Really?
No way.
Yeah.
But there is good performances, and it is a decent.
I mean, I can't get a feel for what it is. Is it a drama? Is it suspense? Is it a romantic?
No, it's a suspense. It's a murder mystery.
More thriller-ish.
Thriller-ish. Yeah. Rosamund Pike is great. She's great, and Ben Affleck does a good job. And there's good supporting by everybody else. There's just some plot stuff towards in the last act that's a little like, come on. But overall, it's entertaining. That's the thing. If you didn't see it in the theaters, DVD is perfect.
It's a rental.
It's a rental.
Okay.
A Walk Among the Tombstones. Now, this one I didn't see, but this was the Liam Neeson when he's it's went more into thriller category than like action. Kick-ass wolves. And,
like I know Taken 3 just came out this weekend, and we were going to review it, but why? Because you either love the movies.
You're either going to see it or you're not.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. Yeah, and if you're not going to see it...
Taken's reviewer proof.
Yeah, it is. If I say go see it or don't go see it, it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah. Men, Women, and Children. This is the Jason Reitman movie. I have not seen this yet. It's one of those movies that the premise is so timely and... also, like, just kind of poignant. It looks like it could be a really good movie, but it could also kind of take, like, a great premise and do nothing with it. So I don't know. I do want to see it to see what he does with it. Revenge of the Green Dragons. This is another... this is a thriller. I think Martin Scorsese produced it or is, like, presenting it. It might be a vanity credit, but it's a thriller.
I'll give you a quick... It's two best friends rise through the ranks of New York's Chinese underworld in the 80s.
Yeah. Kind of a period piece.
Well, that looks interesting to me.
Yeah. No, it definitely looks good. The trailer looks good, and I think... I could have sworn it was like a Martin Scorsese...
Yeah, he does produce it.
Does produce it, okay. So that's another good rental if you want to check out. I'm definitely going to be checking out 2 of these 4.
Coming out this week, Paddington.
You know what? I got to see a trailer of this movie, and you know what? This looks like a really good kids movie. Like, you see there's that difference between a family movie and a kids movie. This looks like right bullseye good kids movie. That kind of thing. Kids are really going to like it. Parents are going to be checking their watches. But the thing I liked about it is when, my daughter's at the age now. She's 9. Where she loved Guardians of the Galaxy, but still wants to see Paddington. So it's kind of that she's not too old, kind of for these cute, kids movies, but also she's ready for the more mature stuff.
Who's voicing Paddington?
That's a good question.
I know Nicole Kidman's in it.
Paddington is voiced by
Donald Glover.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be so great.
I'm thinking like Russell Brand or somebody.
It's
good. That's a good guess.
Ben Whishaw.
Don't know him.
Yeah, Benny Ben. I don't know either. All right.
So if you have a kid and they've read Paddington books, you're probably gonna. You need to go see it. The Wedding Ringer. This is Kevin Hart's.
What's the deal with this? I think I almost have to go. I'm seeing this. Let's see what the deal is. They're pushing Kevin Hart. This is it. He's the guy now.
And they had him at the Golden Globes.
Yep.
I think he's funny, but this movie looks so dumb. Like
it's like Ride Along. Like he's funny. Let him be funny and put him in a better movie.
Oh man, like I don't know. He needs this just looks
not good
at all. It looks like the kind of movie I would stop watching on a plane.
Wow.
Like.
You'd physically turn your body around.
Yes, I would I'd look at the floor.
Why is he promoting it so hard? I guess he's getting. He's being. Well, it's the whole Sony email. He has to, but it doesn't. It's almost like I want to see like a hate watch a little bit just to see. And I don't know why I'm turning. I've gone. Who have I gone after today? Keaton. I went after a couple other guys, and I've gone after
Danny Glover. You went after Danny.
Winston Churchill. I don't know.
I went after somebody else earlier. For my memory's so bad.
I don't. Okay. Black Hat.
Black Hat. Now this is the coder/hacker movie with Thor in it. And it looks like an episode of Scorpion.
Yeah,
it does, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like,
remember, it's January.
Yeah,
it's got awards bait and dumping ground. So I'm not on board with Black Hat.
If I was on the road with nothing to do, I would absolutely
go Black Hat.
For sure.
Yeah. Very European. Where was that shot? Is that a foreign film? Was it down in Australia? Or?
It could have been some foreign funding.
It has to be.
I guarantee it was shot in China.
Yeah, it's got that feel. It's really got that feel.
Or had Chinese funding or something.
I mean, they had some
Chinese funding. Part of it was shot.
They had some local hires.
Right.
Yeah. Local hires. Michael Mann directs it.
Oh, maybe Miami.
Viola Davis is in it. Yeah, this is okay. I'm going to see it.
I want production notes.
I'm going to see it. Here's my hope for this movie. It's one of those. This was so.
If Ben Kingsley's in it, it's a.
He is.
Movie if he is, then it's a foreign movie that no one else wants to be in.
I think my hope for this is I'm going to watch it and go, this is good. Maybe they released it the wrong time or something. I don't know. I don't know. That's my hope.
Yeah. And to maybe if Ben Kingsley listening, less Blood Rain, more Sexy Beast. So for your choices in movies.
All right.
Still Alice. Now this is a movie I had never heard of until it won the Golden Globe when she won for Best Actress. She plays a mother that is slowly developing Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
So, and I saw the trailer and it does look like she does a great performance in the film, but it also looks like I don't know how great this movie is going to be. It has that kind of feeling, especially like Kristen Stewart is the daughter, and she is.
Oh, she is.
She is completely. What's the word I'm looking for? Expressionless.
That's not a stretch.
Yeah,
that's who she is.
Yeah. And it's like, really, is this But
that's a good. She's good at it though. She's very good at it.
And so you wonder, like, well, is this the kind of catch you
really
surround yourself with? So I don't know. I think she's going to be good at it, but I don't know about the actual film surrounding her.
Well,
you're still Alice.
When it got the thing, I did the same thing. I went, okay. They just did a very limited release to try to get some award nominations.
Right. It worked.
It paid off, and now they're going wide with it. So I'm in.
If a movie's playing at Skirball, does it have a chance to get wide release?
Brody Stevens.
You got it. Push, believe, and never forget. Comfortable in this neighborhood.
Short drive to the garage.
It really is. I'll back it in.
All right, let's do a little fan feedback.
Yeah.
FF.
Our fan feedback this time is we're going to pick a winner for last week we had Jimmy Dore on the show.
For his book, yes.
For his book, and whoever posts, we basically put on the Facebook page, like, tell us your favorite political film and why, and you're going to get a copy of his book. So our winner is Peter Fraser, and I'm going to read his favorite. We had some great things, Network, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Mm-hmm. So Peter Fraser, right, my favorite political film is the first Ghostbusters.
Wow.
It preaches the evils of government oversight, the American right to privatize an emergency service, and the plight of the American small business owner trying to earn a living with Uncle Sam expecting safe business practices and EPA compliance. Let's not forget the abuse when the Ghostbusters get tossed in a mental ward against their will. Just screams political prisoners to me. Excellent point, Peter.
I can relate.
And nothing... Hold on. Sorry. And nothing gets me going like in the indefinite detention of those in society who consider this get them off the streets, filthy ghosts. Lastly, why Ghostbusters is my favorite political film is after getting the go-ahead by the government at the end of the first movie and save the day, they get sued out of business for breaking the top floors of one building. That's Big Brother for you. So, Peter, email us on Facebook your address, and you're going to get a copy of Jimmy Dore's book.
Yes.
And we want to thank, there was, I believe, 17 comments on the Facebook fan page for this one, which was really cool. Wag the Dog was put in there. Charlie Wilson's War, which is great. Lincoln, which is a good one. All the President's Men. Mm-hmm. The Candidate. Duck Soup. Bob Roberts.
The Campaign.
The Campaign.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Hey, are you friends with Zach Galifianakis? I wasn't sure about that.
Well, I don't know now after the Birdman attacks.
Birdman attacks. Dave, These are all great picks. So thank you guys for playing along with that.
Also, we want to mention, too, there is an issue with our message boards right now. If you're already registered, you are still registered. But if you are a new fan, there's an issue with new registrations. We're working on that right now.
Some of you emailed us on that. Thank you for bringing us that to our attention, and we're working on it. So we will have that fixed. And then Site Spotlight, of course, Neil T. Weekly wrote a Hobbit review.
Yes, and basically it was, if Neil has Hobbit fatigue, just like Graham.
Wow.
So
I was born with it.
Yeah, but Neil actually got there.
He got it
after
late onset.
He got it after 5 movies. Yeah, he did.
Adult onset Hobbit fatigue.
Yeah. So he got it after between 15 and 18 hours. But he's like, there's nothing wrong with it, but check out the review. It's pretty funny, and it talks about, just can we leave Middle Earth now?
I've been saying that for years. All right, well, that's our program, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank our guest, Brody Stevens. Brody.
You got it, Stephen Brody Stevens.
Where can people find you online, upcoming shows?
You could find me on Twitter. Brody is me friend. It's an homage to Tony and Mr. Lee, my busboys in New York. Brody, you guy, you me friend. Albanian and Chinese descent. I do shows all around Los Angeles mostly. I'll be in Chicago this weekend. I'm doing an event with Chicago Cubs for a charity out there. I'm at midnight every afternoon, 4 times a week doing shows. And you can find me around Los Angeles Comedy Store. And I have a podcast all different,
What's it called?
It's called The Festival of Friendship. And just talking. It's not as, I'm not as focused. But I do that. I love podcasting. Need to do it more, and I'm glad you asked me. So, do shows, stand-up comedy, push and believe, and never forget.
And you're also on. You do Rogan and Ice House Chronicles a lot.
Yeah, I do do Death Squad shows, Feral Audio. My show is on Feral Audio Network. Mm-hmm. I just have not done it consistently enough, and I think a lot of it has to.
Are they based in LA too, Feral Audio?
Yeah, they have. Chelsea Peretti, Dan Harmon, and they have some good shows on there. So I like being a part of that, but love podcasting. Every time I do it, I get inspired, but I feel like this year I'm going to have more. People don't understand, warm-up is a tough thing. I really didn't get much of a break. I got maybe a year off, but when I was doing that year, it was a lot of traveling. So I finally, always trying to get that balance between work and you get to be a certain point. You got to be smart with your energy and also stick up for yourself a little bit. So I feel like this year, and seeing you guys doing the podcast, and it's always, it's inspiring. You guys do a good job. I like it. Very clean, professional. Yes, Graham and Christopher. See, I got the voice. I got to just channel into Brody. He's always going. He's on a loop. I channel into him.
Surrounded by T-shirts.
Well, thank you for doing the show. All right, guys, I will be headlining the Improv in Lake Tahoe at Harvey's Hotel and Casino, January 28th through February 1, and of course the Las Vegas Improv at Harrah's. February 17th through the 22nd. And, of course, you can get discounts if you go to Vegas.com and use coupon code CFN.
Why wouldn't you?
Go for it.
And I will be at the Fantasy Springs Casino this weekend in Palm Springs, Friday and Saturday night.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. My mom lives down there.
Yeah, I'll comp her.
Who are you doing the shows with?
No idea. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have to check the website.
They have a bunch of shows down there at the deserts in the casinos.
That's
a whole
thing. Yeah, the Improv, they go from January, then for a few months, and then they just stop. This is the only time they do the
Oh, really?
Improv.
But there's so many casinos now on the way down there. It's great. They got the Palm Springs Film Festival, which is really
and they have
global.
Two. They have the Palm Springs Short Film Festival too, which is fantastic.
And then obviously Coachella. Mm-hmm. Is there a Coachella Music and Film Festival? There's got to be some kind of film stuff there. No?
There has to be.
Oh, no.
Just some people walking
around. It's in a side tent somewhere.
They're just projecting on somebody's body paint.
Yeah.
Or something like that. All right, guys, so check all of that out. And, of course, spread the word, like the Facebook fan page. Follow us on the Twitter at Comedy Film Nerds. I'm at Graham Elwood. Chris is at Chris J. Mancini. You can see all my live tweets that I did during the Golden Globes.
Oh, yeah,
that was a lot of fun. And stick around later this week. We'll release a Golden Globes wrap-up episode. All right, thank you once again to Brody Stevens.
You got it.
My name is Graham Elwood.
And I'm Chris Mancini. And as always, remember, Han shot first.
Yes.